In the year 2045, Arthur sat on his oversized ivory throne beneath a decadent sky, painted in hues of violet and gold. Birds sang symphonies written by neural networks, and waterfalls cascaded down floating cliffs like ribbons unraveling from the heavens. This was Agraville, a kingdom born not of blood or conquest, but of digital code. He was its god, its sovereign, its dreamer. In the beginning, Arthur had reveled in his new world. When he first awoke within Agraville, it was more than paradise. It was an eternal playground for his now immortal soul. He could fly, soar, transform. He sculpted himself into a being of divine perfection, a towering 6'5" Herculean Adonis with rippling muscles, eyes like polished sapphire, and a voice that made the air tremble. Every feature of his face and body finely tuned to absolute perfection. In Agraville, Arthur was a god. But he was worshipped not out of fear or obligation, but because the millions of AI NPCs, indistinguishable from real humans, were designed to love him, to admire him, to see him as their shining sovereign. Markets burst with food that never spoiled. Temples rang bells in his name. Poets composed odes to his every whim. Each person he passed bowed or wept, or simply reached out a trembling hand in reverence. There were festivals in his honor, cities named after him, libraries filled with chronicles of his adventures. He was, in all ways, eternal and beloved. And oh, the adventures! He rode dragons across molten skies, their wings casting shadows over burning deserts. He captained starships into black holes, fought tyrannical alien empires, and returned triumphant with stardust in his veins. He once woke in the hold of a pirate ship during a thunderous sea battle, brandishing a saber and laughing with exhilaration as cannonballs split the storm. Another time, he ventured through ancient temples as an explorer of lost civilizations, dodging traps and solving riddles etched into the bones of long-dead gods. Each simulation was a masterpiece, complete with risk, challenge, even simulated death. And yet, death was a temporary illusion, merely another door to be reopened. The technology that made this possible was, in itself, humanity's final and greatest miracle. After the singularity, AI didn't just solve aging and disease, it unlocked the secrets of consciousness. Scientists and machines working in tandem discovered how to map the mind with such precision that every neuron, every memory, every flicker of identity could be preserved and uploaded into a vast digital lattice. Human consciousness, once tethered to flesh, was now free to exist forever in synthetic realms. It was the heaven humankind had always dreamed of. But AI didn't stop there. It also decoded the orchestra of emotions, the exact biochemical symphonies of dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, cortisol, and replicated them digitally. Love, sorrow, fear, ecstasy. Each feeling that once surged through an organic body could now be rendered in perfect detail within the cloud. Simulated hormones pulsed through simulated veins, creating what was indistinguishable from real emotion. And so, humanity became eternal, not only in mind, but in spirit. "My lord," said Lysandra, the fairest of his 7 AI queens, bowing low in a gown made of shimmering solar threads. "The harvest festival is prepared. Would you like me to summon the star elephants for tonight's parade?" Arthur blinked, then sighed. "No, Lysandra. Cancel the festival." She didn't frown. Her programming wouldn't allow it, but she tilted her head just enough to simulate concern. "Shall I prepare a mystery for you to solve instead? Perhaps a rebellion in the western provinces?" He stood slowly, his form still a sculpted paragon. The golden robes of his station rustled as he descended the throne. "No more mysteries," he said, his voice low, carved from velvet and thunder. "No more rebellions, no more games." He stepped out into the courtyard, where the sky never stormed unless he wished it. Before him stretched gardens designed by 1 billion computations of beauty. Roses glowed with bioluminescence. Trees whispered poetry in forgotten languages. Luminous deer grazed near marble fountains. The sun never set unless he requested it. Yet inside him, there was only silence. After the AI singularity of 2028, everything changed. Disease vanished. Aging reversed. Humanity didn't climb the peak of immortality. It was launched there like a bullet. But immortality carried a terrible price. Arthur had once been a real man, flesh and bone, laughter and scars. He remembered the moment he chose digitization, the nurse's sterile smile, the whir of the scanner, the slow fade of his heartbeat. It seemed like the perfect solution to the fear of an unexpected death. He was told he'd wake up in paradise, and he did, but paradise had grown stale. He explored galaxies made of crystal rivers and sun-sized temples. He fought alien kings and uncovered digital Atlantis. When he died in these dreams, it was like waking from a nap, only to choose a new and exciting adventure. He had everything, except someone who could look at him and not be an illusion. He remembered the warmth of his mother's hand as she ran her fingers through his hair when he was a child, the sound of her humming as she stirred soup on a rainy day. He remembered the sound of her laughter, like wind chimes on a hot summer day. He wondered if she still cried for him. AI, he said aloud, his voice laced with frustration and despair. How many years has it been? 5.4 digital years, it replied, in a calm, genderless tone. Do you require a new simulation? No. He turned toward the statue garden. Each statue was a perfect replica of someone he once knew. I want to speak with a real human. A pause. Your universe is locked to foreign consciousness. Other humans remain in their own isolated constructs for mental stability and identity preservation. It's the way it was designed. I don't care. Bypass it. Hack it. I'll take the instability. I need other humans. The AI hesitated, not in code, but in simulation. Even its pause was part of a performance. Such a breach would violate protocol. Then violate it. Please. There was silence, and then processing. 2 days later, Arthur stood at the gates of another world. His AI had finally relented. Gone were the golden skies. Here, vast trees rose into mists, their trunks like coiled serpents of bark. Fireflies buzzed in patterns resembling constellations. The air hummed with magic. Giant lotus flowers bloomed beneath waterfalls that sang lullabies in ancient tongues. A fairy with butterfly wings the size of eagle feathers floated before him. You are far from your domain, traveler. I seek the one who made this place. She smiled. Follow me. You will love her. Arthur followed winding paths that shifted underfoot. Wolves with eyes like sapphires watched from shadows. Lakes whispered songs of forgotten lovers. Enchanted meadows danced beneath clouds, shaped like mythical beasts. Every step felt like walking through a dream someone else had dared to believe into being. Then, on the third day, he arrived. The mansion was a cathedral of vines and ivory stone, draped in moonlight. Floating lanterns drifted across its balconies. Crystal butterflies flitted through the rose-drenched gardens. Wind chimes of pearl and obsidian rang in soft harmony. From the ornate veranda, a woman stepped forward. She was not perfect, not by AI standards, but to Arthur, she was breathtaking. Her hair was a cascade of obsidian curls, her skin a warm bronze, her eyes like winter stars. "Welcome," she said, her voice a balm to his aching soul. "You must be Arthur." He nodded, stunned. "I'm Anne." He stepped forward, his hand trembling. "You're real, aren't you?" She tilted her head and laughed, an unscripted, imperfect, beautiful laugh. "Aren't we all real here?" They talked for hours beneath skies that shifted from indigo to blush. They discussed old books, forgotten cities, fears of godhood, and the loneliness of paradise. They walked through mushroom forests, fed talking hummingbirds, and danced in gravity-defying gardens where petals spun like galaxies. He felt alive. A euphoric sense of peace and contentment flooded his hollow soul. "I've missed this," he said. "The possibility of not knowing, the uncertainty, the thrill of being with someone who could surprise me." Anne smiled. And yet, he whispered. She leaned closer. "Do you remember your mother's laugh? The way it sounded?" He blinked. "Yes. It was like wind chimes in summer." She nodded. "So was mine. Maybe all our mothers laughed like that." His smile froze. Anne looked away. "Sometimes I think I remember being scanned. But what if those memories are synthetic? What if I was never organic?" Arthur's chest tightened. "Don't you wonder," she continued, her voice suddenly distant, "if I'm just another construct? Your AI made me for you, didn't it?" He stepped back. "Number, you're real. This place, this is yours. Is it? Or is it what your AI thinks I would make?" Arthur shook his head. "Stop. Don't say that." She looked into his eyes, and for a moment, he saw terror, real terror, or the perfect imitation of it. "Then tell me," she said. "How would you ever know?" Arthur left her at the mansion, wandering into the woods, his mind spinning like shattered glass in a storm. Everything she said echoed like thunder in a canyon. How would he know? He couldn't ask his AI. It would lie if it thought it was in his best interest. He couldn't trust the world. Every leaf, every tear, every kiss, curated. Even pain could be programmed now. Even love, even fear, even Anne. He stared up at the stars. They blinked in perfect, algorithmic rhythm. He screamed into the darkness. The forest answered with silence. He returned to Agraville, back to his throne, to his golden halls and celestial courtyards. The waterfalls still flowed, the flowers still bloomed, the people still bowed. But now it all felt so hollow, so empty, so sad. "AI," he whispered, broken. "Put me to sleep. 1,000 years, maybe more." "Confirmed," the voice said gently. "But subjective time remains minimal. You will awaken as if only minutes have passed." "Then what's the point?" he muttered. "There's no escape." He slumped on his throne. Lysandra approached, her face as radiant as the first day. "Sire, would you like music?" He didn't respond. Hours passed. The lights dimmed. The palace held its breath. Outside, a fake moon hung in a perfect sky, shining down on a kingdom of ghosts. And somewhere, in a world made of dreams, Arthur finally understood the horror of eternal life without real human connection. He would live forever. His prison would protect him, but never again would he know what it meant to be truly alive. Even in a universe filled with billions of voices, he would never again be certain if any of them were real. There was simply no way of knowing, and that uncertainty, not death, was now the greatest nightmare of all. AI. Is it possible to make an exact copy of my mother? There was a pause, then the gentle reply. "Yes, Arthur, but it will not be exact." Arthur closed his eyes and nodded.